Elphelt's Chain Lollipop Rekka has been a hated move since the character was released in Strive Season 3. And now, thanks to additional buffs to the character making her stronger overall, players are very quickly realizing that Chain Lollipop is one of the most annoying tools in her kit. Today, we are going to go over not only why this move is so strong, but what kind of counterplay you can implement into your game to better deal against it. In our first episode of F This Move, Chain Lollipop Edition. Let's get into it. So first we need to understand what the move is and why it is so strong. This move is a 20 frame mid, which then starts her Chain Lollipop Rekka state. Once she's in this Chain Lollipop mode, she then has access to this very quick overhead or this very quick low, both of which are 14 frames and therefore in the completely unreactable tier bracket thing, whatever. To make matters worse, she can do it again, right? She then has the option to select choosing another high or another low. And so what this creates is a situation of which, if you wanted to guess correctly, statistically speaking, you would have to guess two 50-50 coin flips in a row, which is a 25% chance of actually guessing correctly every single time. To make matters worse, she can also just reset back into itself, further adding it to the mental stack. If you guys don't know what mental stack is, that's basically a phrase for you're overloading your opponent's senses, their nervous system, so that they make objectively worse decisions. So for people who don't necessarily know how to deal with it, this is very, very, very oppressive and annoying. What's even more annoying is that her ender, right, is actually completely and totally safe. It is this -5 mid that blows back your opponent far enough that if they wanted to actually oppress themselves, or if they wanted to take their turn back with a far slash or something, you can actually just mash 6p on them. Or if you didn't want to engage with them at all, you could just backdash out and then it's all safe and sound. So now that we've established why this move is incredibly annoying, what can you actually do against it? Well, the main thing that you can do is just simply not get hit by it at all, or don't necessarily allow her to go into it. What I mean by that is a lot of moves that go into Chain Lollipop can actually be completely 6p'd. There's actually a very short list of moves that will not get 6p'd if you go into it. These moves are actually 5H, you can't really mash 6p, and 6H, and also Red Wild Assault. So if you find an Elphelt that's doing this a lot, you can actually just mash 6p and then smack them away from you, and then you're good to go. The other obvious answer is just DP, right? If you're a character that does have a reversal, whether that be a super or a DP or a parry, use it, okay? If you think that they're gonna use it in that spot, use it right then and there. Usually the main tells is if they do something like close slash 5H, they're typically going to go into it because it is one of the more relatively safe options. Oftentimes you'll see an Elphelt player, if you're waking up, they'll do something like this: run up 6H into Rekka, or into the freaking lollipop chainsaw lollipop thing. So those would be your usual tells to do your reversal right then and there. Here presents problem number one, however. What if you're a character that doesn't have a reversal or doesn't have a DP, and you also don't have metered in order to be able to do a reversal, or your character's like Happy Chaos, who actually does not have a reversal at all? Well, what you can do is just backdash and throw, right? This is actually quite universal. Backdash into throw, if they're committing to one of their two Rekka options, is actually a very, very good way to deal with her pressure. Just backdash it and throw it. This is not completely universal, however. There are some characters that their backdashes are truly not good enough to deal with. And that is this list right here. All the characters in the red can actually do the backdash throw option. All the characters down here, unfortunately, cannot because their backdashes are too slow. I believe that the cutoff point is 23 frames. If you have a 23 frame or more backdash, then you're kind of screwed. Then there are also unique situations like Abba, where if Abba is in her normal mode, she actually can't backdash and punish. But if she's in jealousy range, then her backdash actually speeds up to 16 frames, and then she's able to do that accordingly. And then you have a character like Slayer, who has the slowest backdash in the game, but because he's able to cancel it into his unique forward punching move, then he's actually able to do that. Oh, it's a little tricky, but that's what it would look like. Something very important to note, however, is that if you go for the backdash tech, right, and then she goes for the S the S follow-up, which makes her launch in the air again, she's actually just going to completely destroy your throw attempt. Now, there are ways around this if you are a fast enough character. Like, for example, Johnny has an 18-frame backdash. You're actually just able to do backdash and press a button, and in most cases get a full-on punish. So it is important for you to do your own due diligence, lab with your character, and see if you're able to do this backdash into pressing your fast as normal and get a punish. That's your homework. Go do that. Okay. But now all else fails and you end up blocking the move anyway. What can you do? Now, for those with a reversal, you might think, oh, I can just DP straight through it. Well, it is not exactly that simple, as you can see. While yes, there are instances of which your DP will work, it is under a very specific instance. Elphelt's overhead actually is 3 hits, and if you are crouching, the first one will not connect with you, and therefore you have a 2-frame gap in order to input your reversal or DP. That being said, this is way easier said than done. You need to buffer a super while still crouching in anticipation for her doing her overhead. If she just goes low, however, you are completely and totally screwed, especially if you're buffering. A lot of the times it requires a forward input, or in Leo's case, an up input, in which case you will not be blocking your toes. And so if Elphelt just goes for the low option like 100% of the time and you're buffering your reversal, you're gonna be screwed. Let's, however, say you are one of the characters that falls into the category of I do not have a DP or parry or reversal of any kind, and also I do not have meter for my super. Then what do? This is where meter management really comes in handy in this matchup specifically, because the 2 main defenses against being completely overrun by Chainsaw Lollipop is going to be deflect shield, right? So that this completely like negates any high-low like issues that you have, right? It doesn't matter if I'm going high or low, you can still deflect shield out, and deflect shield just gets rid of the whole high-low situation altogether. Do note, however, that if Elphelt baits out your deflect shield, you're absolutely cooked. Well done, so do not abuse this option. Your last and final bastion for defense is just going to be to YRC before the mix-up actually hits you. Ideally, however, as you saw, I kind of did it too early. You want to YRC while she's on the ground so that she doesn't fly away, so that she's in your face at +10 as opposed to being far away. Then you have to deal with sort of like annoying RPS situations. Whenever you are fighting Elphelt, it is important that you manage your meter so that you have at least 50% burst in order to deflect shield, or 50% meter in order to be able to YRC her off of you so that you're not being completely run over by this move. And your last option is honestly just to pray. Hopefully you can read your opponent's habits or make a good read. Sometimes you just gotta raw dog the mix, bro. That's just life. Okay, that is just the game of life, and we're all playing it. That is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something. If you are watching this at this very exact moment right very much now, I will be streaming live on twitch.tv/GrandmastaJ, playing Venom, playing a couple of other characters. If not, then I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.